What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage, and welcome back to another new video. So it's been about 2 weeks, we've been back from the tail of the dragon, as you guys saw in the last video. That was a super fun trip and the car did really well. But as I mentioned before, it's time to get back into the garage. The M3 has a bunch of new mods coming and I'm super excited to show you guys. I've been teasing this for the longest time and it's time to get the Aero started on the M3. So as a preview right now, we've been running, this isn't OEM, but it's like OEM style. So it's the OEM M4 GTS front lip, and now this has like the top lip section and then it has a splitter section. And I showed you guys how I had that set up a while ago and it's adjustable, so I just have to go underneath, undo the screws, and then the bottom can slide out. Pretty cool little setup. Other than that, we don't really have any Aero. We have some OEM and performance style side skirts. That doesn't really do much. And then we also have an OEM CS rear spoiler on here, and this is mostly just Rolex. I know it doesn't really do much at all. Technically, this full Aero kit together does a little bit of Aero, as well as the OEM CS hood. So having this vent plus the lip plus the rear spoiler, I think it's like 40 or 45 pounds of downforce at 100 miles an hour. So it's really not much at all, not really anything that you would notice, but it is functional. And this was all tested by BMW. So it is a little bit of functional Aero, but not really anything special. But as I've been teasing from you guys for quite a while, it is time for all of that to change. So I've been working with Ridgeline Motorsport on their new Time Attack Aero kit, and it's finally time for us to get it started. I'm super excited to show you guys the Aero kit. It's fully arrived. We're just missing a little bit of hardware, but it's gonna be here tomorrow, and it's gonna be quite the install on this car, and we're gonna have quite the turnaround. So it's officially time for the Aero kit to get started. Let me hop into what the different pieces we're gonna be doing are, and I'm gonna show you guys the kit, and then we're gonna get into the install. Okay, so the first piece that we're gonna be changing is the new front Aero. So the front Aero right now, like I mentioned, is just the GTS lip. We're gonna be removing that lip, and we have a full chassis mounted splitter system going on, as well as some Canards. So let me show you that over here. So this is the new chassis mounted splitter from Ridgeline Motorsport. This thing is super cool. I do want to preface all of this Aero that I'm going to be showing you guys right now, with the exception of the Canards, is all still kind of in the prototype development stage or phase of life. So we still have a bunch of different things that need to change on this kit, and we're going to have a bunch of little updates. But as you guys can see here, we have a full chassis mounted lip with a full inner splitter section, as well as tunnels for extra Aero underneath and extra airflow. But this is not a small lip, as you can see, by any means. This is going to be quite aggressive, and it's actually kind of modeled after the OEM GT4 race car Aero. So this is going to look really good. So I'm super excited to get this on. This is what we're going to be starting with today. We're actually just going to work on this outer section here, and we're also going to be working on the Canards. So that's the next piece that I'll get to. These are OEM shape, but also from Ridgeline Motorsport, and these are the GT4 Canards. So here we have the lower section. These are all made out of pre-preg carbon fiber, and as you guys can see, they're super high quality. Really nice, all OEM shape. I just have some tape on here because I was kind of messing with how they laid up on the bumper. But that's the lower section. And then we have the uppers, which are also the same material. These things are super clean. And I was messing around with how they fit up on the bumper, and they're gonna look really good, especially with that chassis mounted splitter. So this thing is no joke. It is not small by any means, but we're gonna get started on this install. It's gonna be quite tedious. There's gonna be a lot to go on, and we have a full chassis mount kit here to go on. So there's going to be a lot of install, a lot of different pieces that we're going to have to work through. The whole bumper will come off, so I'll be showing you guys everything. But we're finally getting the Aero started on this car, and I could not be more excited. Now the next thing I want to show you guys is the new wing. So as I mentioned, this is also still in the kind of in a prototype shape. So the wing foil is pretty much in the correct shape, but it might change a little bit. And then the bottom brackets, so the trunk mounts, are going to change. I think the uprights are complete, as well as the end plates. So these are like a OEM GT4 end plate style, and they're super sick. Also, all of this is pre-preg carbon, looks super good. The only part that is not pre-preg carbon for now is this lip. But as I mentioned, this is just like a wet carbon layup. So if you guys don't know the difference, wet carbon is just carbon fiber laid over whatever pattern or whatever mold you have. and then you vacuum seal it with a resin. And the difference that you get between that and dry carbon is that the resin isn't always in the perfect ratio, and so sometimes you have a little bit thicker, a little bit thinner. You don't have the perfect strength to weight ratio, and that's not really too big of an issue, especially for this piece here, because actually most of the weight is going to be in this splitter section. However, this piece will be getting redone in a full dry carbon bit. I have a, that is coming, it's just not quite ready yet, and so we're gonna be running all of the prototype Aero for now. So as you guys can see, we're gonna go ahead and get this all sorted. Everything's gonna look really good. This wing is quite large. You guys can't tell. It's definitely no joke. So it's gonna be real fun to get on. I kind of threw it up and kind of mocked it up how it should look on the back of the car, and I'm super excited. I think this thing's gonna look really good. I will have to remove the CS lip, so this is gonna be coming off the car. It doesn't fit with the wing stands. Plus, I just don't think it looks the best on the car. I think it looks a little bit better whenever you have a big wing on these cars. I kind of like the way it looks when you just get rid of any of the trunk lips and just have kind of like a smooth. So it's time to get everything on. Like I said, we're not gonna be doing the wing today. We're just gonna be starting with the splitter, and actually we're just gonna be starting with the lip and then the canards tonight. And then tomorrow we're gonna get back and we're gonna finish the second part of the splitter. I'll show you guys more in detail as we kind of go through it, but this is actually a two-piece. So the splitter like slides into this section so that you have like a pretty fascia air dam lip and then a chassis supported splitter. And that's how we're able to get our Aero working on the M3. So as I mentioned, first thing we're gonna do is gonna get the car up in the air, and we're gonna get the front bumper off where we can get the old GTS lip off. Now, I will say something that I picked up recently in the past week is I got myself a set of quick jacks. I found these locally on Facebook Marketplace, and this is by far the easiest method of getting a car in the air. So I'm gonna show you guys how it works. It's super simple. You basically slide these underneath the car, put some foam blocks, or they're actually little rubber blocks underneath the jack points. Then you're just gonna connect it up to the little module and power. This is a little hydraulic pump here. And then you just lift the car up. It's so simple, super safe. It definitely helps getting underneath the car really easily. It's gonna help getting, you know, the car in the air quickly. So definitely a huge benefit. But let's get the car up in the air. I'm gonna get the front bumper off, we'll get the front lip off, and then we can start working on the new carbon fiber lip. So just like that, we have the quick jacks underneath, and then we have the wires, all of the things are wired up. Those are all the hydraulic lines. So we're just gonna take the remote. Just like that, we're getting the car nice and up in the air. So as you guys see, it's a little tight in here, but we have the full front bumper off. I got the old lip off. I just set that over there. So now we have the front bumper off, and we can go ahead and start. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna wait for all of the mounting kits. If you guys remember, these are the GTS mounting brackets here. These are the ones that go to the chassis. You see how literally solid these are? We're gonna be taking these off. It comes all the way up here. We have our brake ducting. That's the OEM GT4 style. There's the other GTS bracket. So we're gonna be taking all of that off here in a minute. But like I said, the first thing we're gonna do is we have the bumper off, and it's time to get the front lip on. So as you guys can tell, like I mentioned, this is a two-piece design. You can see the lip is gonna slide in here from the backside. So if we look at the splitter section here, this is what slides perfectly into the back of the lip right there. And this is where all of our weight is going. But because this thing slides perfectly flush all the way in, this is fully supported, and so we don't have to worry about you know, any strength issues or whatnot. And then we're also gonna go ahead and get the GT4 canards on. So all we're gonna do is line this up. This is just gonna be held up with, these are just some nuts and bolts. So we're gonna line this up to the bumper, make all of our marks, make sure everything lines up, all the corners line up really nicely. we'll get the bumper up and then we'll get all the holes drilled along the bottom and we can go ahead and get this thrown on. All right, we got the lip, I got all the hardware out, and I've got the bumper set up here on the table. So we're gonna get this thing lined up and then start marking our holes to drill all the way along the bottom. It's really dirty, but it doesn't matter, it's gonna be covered anyways. So we're gonna get all those holes marked out, and then what we're gonna do is we'll just have a nut on this backside and we'll be able to push the bolt through from the bottom. Now, from experience, it does get really tight in here, so it's not that much fun, but we're gonna make it work, and as long as everything's set and secure, really should be good. Like I mentioned, this isn't gonna be holding most of the weight anyways. It's really not holding any weight. All of the weight will be in the chassis section, and this is just like a front air dam to keep the air functional on the splitter. You need to block off all of that air at the very front. So this will be doing all of the work, but let's go ahead and get this drilled out. We're gonna measure those holes and then use the supplied hardware and get this thrown onto the bumper. Like I mentioned, we have this all on. You guys saw me, I just went ahead and got it all screwed up and laid on. Looks really good, fitment's pretty solid. We have a few little gaps here and there, but you're really not gonna be able to notice it once it's on. But all these corners line up pretty nicely, so everything looks really good. This is definitely quite an aggressive lip. It looks pretty sick on the bumper here. I think it looks really cool, definitely gonna be really aggressive. And like I mentioned, this is just the lip. Here we have the splitter section right here. We got the tunnels, but now it's time to get the canards on. So right now I'm just figuring out how I want to get these situated. So obviously they have a spot where they're supposed to go onto the car, just like so. However, I'm trying to decide how I want to mount them to the side. So we can either do it basically in two different ways. You can either use a nutsert, where you're just going to tap into the bumper and then you're going to use a like a riv nut tool, and you're going to squeeze the nutsert in, leave it in there, and then you don't have to worry about any back access. And that's because there is not much access back here whatsoever. So it's a little bit difficult to see, a little bit difficult to access. So, you know, running a bolt through any of these holes is kind of, a bolt with like a nut on the backside is going to be a little bit of a struggle, just because there isn't really good space to do so. But what I'm going to try and see, I think, what I can end up doing. So this is the upper canard. This upper canard is going to sit somewhere along here. So you can see it's actually like kind of molded. This backside here is molded. The tape is just there to hold it. But the backside here is molded to fit onto the bumper really nicely. So what I'm going to end up doing is figuring out just the exact same spot that this goes. And then I think there will be a spot on the backside. So at least the top, I'm probably going to nut and bolt. And then it looks like I may have to riv nut the bottom ones into the bumper. And that'll probably just be the best solution to get these on the best way. I'll show you guys how I get everything set up. Like you guys saw, this is just held on with nut and bolt. Honestly, it's pretty sturdy, but it's definitely not sturdy enough to be driving at high speed, and definitely isn't chassis mounted whatsoever. It's just onto the bumper. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna get the sides all taped up here. Going to spend a lot of time figuring out just where these canards go, and then I can get them all marked up and we get everything situated. All right, guys, so we got the canards stuck up. Like I mentioned, we're going to do a little bit of a tricky little setup to get these all situated. But what I went ahead and did is got this taped up, and then, so I got the bumper covered. And then what I went ahead and did is added a little bit of 3M onto the back of these things, just so that I can get them like stuck up and have them move around. And I think I found the final resting place for this side. So as you can see, the fitment is super tight and flush on here. Obviously on the bottom, everything is also super tight, super flush. This is all OEM pieces. And then the other detail that you got to make sure, you can see this line right here at the edge matches this line right here, which matches this line right here of the bumper. So you want to make sure that you get all of those details fixed and situated, everything just to look good, just because you're only going to drill this once. It's kind of like doing these and doing the fenders. You just want to like double and triple check. I think I've moved these things around each one like maybe 10 or 15 times, and you just want to make sure everything looks good. The angle looks the same on both of these. It's a little bit hard to tell because whenever you're looking at this one, then this one's like flat, you know what I mean? But the angles look pretty solid. They look just about as even as I could get them. So I think everything looks really good. Obviously the fitment to the car is really good. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do, mark my spots on the vehicle where I wanna drill, and then I'm gonna check my backs. So after I drill, I should be pretty good to nut and bolt up here. I don't see any potential issues as of yet. There might be one issue right here in the middle. We'll figure that one out. Otherwise, we're going to use these holes here. And then obviously on the bottom ones, like I mentioned, there are more holes underneath here. There's two right here and one right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and use a nut cert for both of those. So I have some M6 hardware, and that will work perfectly for the canards. I'm going to go ahead and get this side done, and then I will move on to the passenger side. Well, I guess I'll move on to the driver's side and get that side done. Okay, so we have our holes marked 1, 2, 3, and then on the bottom 1, 2, and 3. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to drill these out. Now I have M6 hardware for all of these. I have some nice stainless hardware right here, so you can see these are like some nice T-headed or Torx head with a nylon lock washer in the back, or a lock nut. I also have a set of washers over here. So what I'm going to do is just drill these out big enough, and if they end up not being big enough, obviously for me to use the nut, or I can't have any access on the back, what I'm going to go ahead and do is just use the nut certs like I have right here. And then obviously for the bottom, I'm only going to use the nut certs. So I have enough hardware to do it that way. Obviously I have the drill bits. So we're going to go ahead and get drilling up here. Again, measure as many times as you can before, go through after. Obviously make sure that you're not going to be covering your parking sensor right here. So when I had my thing marked up, it comes like right underneath the bottom of it, but it doesn't cover it. And these things usually have like a little dead zone in them with like 2 to 4 inches. So you don't have to worry about the canard being in the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these drilled. Like I said, I'm gonna drill these with the smaller holes and then these with the bigger ones for the nut certs. Let's go ahead and get these. There we go, all the holes are drilled. I test fit these, they look really good. We got these in with the rib nuts in. They're super solid and in there. Time to go ahead and test fit the canards. guys, it's the next morning and we got everything finished up last night. So the Canards are on and they're like super strong. I don't know if you guys can tell. These are through bolted and then these are obviously done with these studs. Same thing on this side. Fitment is super good. I mean, everything is like super nice and flush. I spent a lot of time comparing this side to this side just to make sure that everything looks perfect. Everything's exactly the same spots. So it looks really good here. And I got all of these situated nicely. This one also on the riv nuts, and then this one obviously is through bolted. And so you guys can get a feeling for where this comes out. As you guys can see, this one came out into a nice open spot. This one came out with this little bracket right here, so I kind of had to trim around a little bit, made space for my nut and washer. And then on the same thing on this side, it came into a, there's like a little divot right here, or like a little brace. It's the same as what this is. So it just like sticks out here in the back. And so I just had to trim that up real quick. And I just used like a hot saw blade. So like I just took this thing, melted down the end, and it just cuts through like butter on the back here. And then that one has a perfect mounting location as well. So these three came out really clean. And the reason I didn't do them on the bottom with a through bolt and a nut is that you obviously don't have any access. So you can kind of see, if you look like right in through here, you can kind of see them, but it's okay. So it looks really good. It matches the hardware that I used here. And honestly, I think it looks really clean. Some people may or may not like the silver hardware that I'm using, but I think it kind of has that like motorsport look. It matches the hardware here as well as it will kind of blend in with the polished lips. So everything looks really good. But now the bumper is finished and it's gonna be time to get the splitter on. So I do want to preface by saying that, like I mentioned the other day, this is just going to be a prototype for now. So we will be having a lot more strength in the mounting location on the final design. So this is just a prototype piece. And now this is like an ABS carbonate kind of piece. And it's gonna stay this way. It's not gonna be made out of carbon. And the reason for that is, one, having these tunnels built in just makes it a little bit complicated. So if you were gonna do it with dry carbon, you would need an aluminum mold the size of this thing. And it would take a ton of work, and honestly, it would make them quite expensive. And Ridgeline is able to keep these at a very affordable price point. So we are definitely saving a lot by having this in a polycarbonate. And honestly, if it was solid, it's quite thick, as you guys can see. I think it's like 4 or 5 millimeters thick. You would not end up saving really all that much weight, probably 2 to 3 pounds, but you would increase price by like over $1,000. So this is the perfect solution. It's perfectly strong enough. And if you guys can see this thing, it's thick. I think it weighs about 14 pounds. And then with the lip here, and as I mentioned, this is the wet carbon version. I think altogether we are at like 17 or 18 pounds, which really isn't that bad at all for a giant front splitter like this. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing connected up to the car. It's gonna take a little bit of modification. I still need to go ahead and remove these GTS mounts, and then I'm gonna also have to remove some of the other things. So I gotta remove this duct here. And I think while I'm here, you guys can see all the leaves that are in here. It's like actually really bad inside there. So I'm gonna get a light. Now you guys can see it's like absolutely filthy inside there. So it definitely needs some cleaning. I'm probably gonna just stick a vacuum in there, see what all I can get. Should do a good amount, get everything situated. But we're gonna start removing all of these pieces. I gotta remove these brackets right here, and then we can remove this. We'll remove these side pieces. Need a little bit of trimming on some of these different little areas, and we can go ahead and get the splitter all mounted. Well guys, it was only like 2 extra bolts or 3 extra bolts, and look at all of that dirt that is just sitting on top of the oil cooler. So went ahead and dropped that. That makes it so much easier to reach in here, get all of this dirt out, and make the oil cooler just that little bit more efficient. So we're gonna go ahead and get all of this vacuumed up. We'll continue cleaning. There's a little bit more up in here that I'm gonna try and get, and just little details while I'm here, while I got the bumper off. It makes sense. So let's get this all cleaned up. This is just full of grass and dirt, leaves, bugs, you name it. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and we'll make everything look way better. Okay guys, quick update. Unfortunately, a little bit of a change of plans. So we were about to get the splitter thrown on, and I was actually just on the phone with the Ridgeline guys, and we were kind of walking through the setup and getting everything ready. And I realized that I never received the mounting brackets for the side right here to come down to the bottom of the splitter. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to run the splitter just yet. They're going to get those sent out to me and overnighted. We're going to get everything situated and we'll get this on this week. We do have a track day coming up literally next week. So we're going to get those shipped out. They should be here maybe Monday or Tuesday of next week. We'll be able to get it all on and sorted, and it really shouldn't be an issue. In the meantime, we are going to go ahead and get the bumper thrown on just because I might drive the car tomorrow. I'll probably try and go get some photos of the kit and whatnot. So for the meantime, we're just going to get the bumper thrown on as well. We're going to go ahead and jump to the trunk. So we're going to get the trunk set up all done. I showed you guys the big wing. I brought it inside for now, but we're going to get the trunk set up done. So I got to get all of these bolts off, all this hardware off. We're going to end up taking the entire trunk off of the car and get it over here onto the table. We have a bunch of drilling to do and a bunch of little pieces that I need to get sorted out. So we're going to get the trunk off. I'm also going to have to remove the trunk clip. So I need to get the trunk clip removed, and then we can go from there, get the trunk off of the car, and we'll get that new wing on. We'll get the front bumper on, and you will see the car. It's not an issue. It's held on to the lip just fine. I'm not going to drive crazy. I'm not going to be doing anything, and I just won't stand on it. It's definitely sturdy, and it'll hold its own for now. So no big worry there, and we'll just go from there, drive the car, and next week we'll be able to put the splitter on. Like I mentioned, the splitter just goes inside of this and adds support so that we can just add a little bit of extra weight to the car. Kind of unfortunate. Didn't realize that they weren't in the box, but you know, that's how it usually goes installing pieces, especially when it's all prototype like this. So no big deal, no big issue. We'll get this on later this week. It's time to get the front bumper on and get the trunk off. So step number one, we're going to be getting this trunk spoiler off. Now this is just held on by 3M tape. This is just a CS. This is from a local carbon fiber company called Easy Carbon. It's super high quality. I love having this thing on here, and it definitely looks really good. Fitment is perfect. It follows the body lines really well. But we're going to get this thing off, and it's just held on with 3M. So I'm going to go grab some fishing line. We're going to get it off of the car. Then I have a little 3M eraser wheel. We'll get all of the excess residue off the car. Maybe give it a light polish, and then we'll be able to get the trunk off and get everything situated. Let's go ahead and get this taken off the car. So we got everything removed. Obviously we got all of the like the plastic and carpet removed. We have that sitting off over to the side, and then you obviously have to remove these covers. They cover up the hinge arms here. Then we went ahead and unplugged everything here. So we have the wiring harness sitting all the way down here. You can either do it this way, or you can pop all these clips and unplug the wiring harness down in here. You can follow it all the way back and find it there. Now that everything is unplugged, all we're gonna do is undo these 4 bolts. So you see there are 2 bolts right there and 2 bolts right here. We're gonna undo those, and then the trunk is good to go, good to come off, and we're gonna come set it over here on the table, and we can get to drilling and get the top off of the car. So let's go ahead and get this started. All right, so now that we have the trunk off, that was pretty simple. It's just those 4 bolts. I wanna show you guys the trunk mount. So this is the trunk mount. This is the, I believe this is the passenger side. Yeah, passenger side. Okay, so this one's gonna sit right here. And it doesn't really matter for reference, but I want you guys to be able to see. You have these like 2 studs that come down from the top, and obviously this sits on the top of the trunk. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna be drilling out these threads. So what you do is you'll drill out the threads right here, and then we're gonna run a drill bit all the way down through the trunk into the face, like the skin of the trunk on the bottom side here, right? Which is basically the top of the trunk. And once we run that all the way through, then we will have like a center mark, and we'll have a hole from the opposite side. And once we have a hole from our opposite side, we're gonna use a little hole saw from the top. Obviously, it's gonna be centered up with this drill bit, so we'll know exactly where we're supposed to be. And that way we will have the hole on the top of the trunk, and we will be able to use this thing perfectly, and we won't have any issues. And then obviously, you're just gonna have, you're gonna sandwich between the brace right here. This will be, your bolt will go through there. We have an extended bolt, goes all the way down through, and is gonna screw into these threads right here. So these pieces are threaded. And once we're all the way down and screwed into here, that is our base plate for the wing. So you see we have like, this is where the mounts are gonna go, like the wing stands. So we're just gonna drill right through here. First thing we're gonna do is we have to drill out these threads. This is a little bit tricky, but shouldn't be too big of an issue. This is, I think this is like a hardened steel, so you're definitely gonna have to take some time when drilling these out. And then obviously you want to stay as straight as possible, going all the way down to the skin of the trunk. And that's how we get our alignment for the trunk mounts. I'm gonna go get my drill bit. We're gonna go ahead and drill out these little threads right here, get started, and then we can make our marks all the way down to the top skin of the trunk. Update for you guys, the trunk mounts are on to the trunk, and like I mentioned, they are through bolted in. So I got this, I got the fitment decent. It's pretty good for now, at least enough for us to continue. So these things are like, I mean, these are rock solid on the trunk. I just have some 3M here on the sides, mostly just to seal it up. But just using some hardware right now. It's pressed into here pretty nicely. So everything looks pretty good, pretty solid. I'm super happy with the way these things look. These things are, I mean, when I tell you they're solid, they're incredibly solid. We have our hardware on here. I'll probably leave some of the mesh and stuff off just for now. But we're gonna get everything rewired up. So I'm gonna get this loom all back up in here. Make sure that the thing works first, the latch works, obviously, before we close it. And then we are good to get the wing onto the trunk. And then, like I said, we still have the bumper over here. I spent quite a bit of time. See, I had the Dremel out. I had to make the holes that I made for the trunk. I just had to keep making them just ever so slightly bigger so that I could get these bolts to perfectly line up. And honestly, that just took quite a while. Had to make a few trips to the store, make sure I had the right hardware. These are still in development and still going through some minor changes, and so we had to make some changes to the hardware and whatnot, and a little complicated, but we ended up getting it done, and it's gonna look really, really good. So I'm super stoked to get these onto the car, and I think it's time to get the wing on. So let's keep going. I'm gonna plug all this back up and we can go to the wing. And just like that, the fake CS plate is off. And this is now the F80 GT4. Oh, that looks so good. I'm so happy with the way this came out. I think this looks absolutely amazing. The car looks super, super aggressive, no matter like what angle you look at it. I'm really excited to get it out tomorrow. I just really want to see it like out in the daylight, see what it looks like. Yeah, like I'm kind of limited to how much I can view here in the garage. I really only get like, you know, certain angles. I haven't been able to get like a full front on, like, you know, far away view to like see everything, see the wing in the back, see it like sticking out around the sides. I always love that. I always love the way it looks sitting inside the car. I haven't sat inside the car yet. Whenever you can see the wing in the mirror, you can see the wing in the side mirrors. I love having a big wing, and I'm super excited to have it back on an F80 and just have one on this car. I'm really excited with the way this car turned out. I think the Aero kit just looks really good. So as I mentioned, this is the Ridgeline kit. This will be coming out pretty shortly. I know a lot of you guys have asked about it on my Instagram, and this is still just prototype. So like I mentioned, changes are coming. Changes are coming to the wing. Changes are coming to the mounting plates. Changes are coming to the splitter, as well as the, well, this is the lip section, and the changes are also coming to the splitter. Basically, the only thing that is pretty set in stone right now, the end plates, the risers, as well as the GT4 canards, and the shape of this lip. Those are basically the only things that are set in stone and absolutely complete. I've been working with Nick at Ridgeline, and we've just been going over all of the little details today. He's been helping me trying to get all this stuff. We had to work a bunch on the wing. There was just a bunch of little stuff I needed, a bunch of hardware that was kind of missing, and stuff that didn't arrive. Like I mentioned, we were missing the hardware for the chassis section on the splitter, so it was a little bit complicated, and we ended up just not being able to get this on today. I am gonna get it on later this week, so you guys will see that in an upcoming video. It should be pretty simple, pretty easy to get on. We'll just have to take the bumper off and then throw that thing up, get the bumper back on. Shouldn't be too bad. But I'm super excited to test this kit out. We're gonna test it out at the track this coming weekend. We're headed back to ECR. Gonna be a really good time. I'm gonna test all the Aero. I'm probably gonna have to make a ton of changes. I'm probably gonna have to change like all my dampening settings. I may end up having to change my ride height here in the future. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to raise the car overall, both in the rear and in the front, mainly just because I know this doesn't look very low, and I know it's not really low by what most people would say. However, for a race car, this is quite low. If you guys look at like a lot of the OEM GT4 cars or the GT4 race cars, they run with a ton more wheel gap, and it's just better overall for suspension geometry and better overall for handling, clearancing, you name it. It's just kind of a overall better setup. But this looks really, really good. No matter what angle you look at it, I really can't get over that wing. So excited to start driving with that thing. I think with the cage, like this just kind of looks a little bit more race car now than it ever has. This thing is so sturdy, so on here. I mean, I don't have, I'm not able to do it right now, but I will get photos for you guys. I'm gonna be standing on this wing. I wanna stand on the front splitter. I'm gonna get photos of all of that for you guys. I just, not yet. We're kind of busy, kind of rushed getting this on. getting it prepped for this week. So super excited with the way the car's coming out. I think everything all together, this is so cool. I'm so happy for the swing. I've been teasing this for like, I think I've been mentioning this for like the past 4 or 5 months now. And you guys have been waiting, so super excited to get this on. I'm gonna go get some clips of it tomorrow. Just drive around, see, get some cool photos. I always love getting photos of this car, especially with new parts on it. So excited to get this thing out, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. A little bit of a all over the place. I think I had like 6 different trips to Home Depot today just to go get more hardware. So it was a little bit of a mess in terms of getting this install completed. But I appreciate you guys sticking with it if you're made it all the way to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, as always, please leave a like, leave a comment. I'll see you guys when we get the splitter complete before we head to the track next weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. See you guys in the next video.